How much does it mean to you personally to do this?
Yeah, so, me, this building, and the building next door, none of this would exist without boxing. And, I talked about it for a long time. Here we are. And, just everything in life is about timing. And right here, right now, it all feels perfect. The timing feels absolutely perfect. And now we got a lot of work to do. I talked a lot of smack about the things that I didn't like about boxing, but I also said, if you look at the UFC and not just the success of it, but the sustainability of it, I took everything that I loved about boxing and everything that I hated about boxing in how we built the UFC. So if it works for you, for the UFC, it should definitely work for boxing.
Yeah.
After the biggest win of his career against Canelo Alvarez, Terence "Bud" Crawford shocked everyone. He walked away from boxing. He held a huge retirement party, shared a long tribute video, and told fans he had nothing left to prove. Crawford retired as the pound-for-pound king with a perfect 42-0 record, closing the chapter on one of the greatest runs in boxing history. While Bud was enjoying life as a legend, something big was happening behind the scenes. Dana White was quietly working on a deal that could change boxing forever. The UFC president isn't just stepping into boxing, he wants to control it. And he believes Crawford is the key to turning Zuffa boxing into an instant powerhouse.
We did the Canelo Crawford fight. The UFC team did that. We're building a whole new team as far as production goes. Again, that will all be a work in progress over the next year. We'll start signing more talent. The growth from 26 to 27 will be massive. Going to implement a lot of things that I always wanted to do production-wise with boxing. And then we had a production meeting today with a lot of great ideas. And if you think about what a well-oiled machine the UFC is, it took 25 years to get there. In 1 year, we will crush this thing in the next year. Thank you.
My question's for Dana. Joaquin Buckley recently said if Zuffa wants to create stars, they're going to have to use their UFC fighters in order to do so. Do you think there's any truth to that? And also, maybe could we see any UFC fighters face boxers?
I think there's going to be a lot of shit talking both ways in this thing. We're going to have to use UFC fighters to create stars. I don't know, man.
Could we see...
What does that mean?
I think what he's saying is that he wants UFC fighters to face boxers in Zuffa boxing.
That I do not want.
Okay.
I didn't want that when I wasn't involved in boxing, and I definitely don't want it now.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
Dana White's interest in Crawford isn't just about star power. It's about what Bud showed the world in September. When Crawford moved up to 168 pounds and dominated Canelo Alvarez, it wasn't just a win, it was a statement. He proved he's still operating at a level above everyone else. Dana watched that performance and didn't see an aging fighter. He saw someone who looked untouched by time. To White, letting a talent like that stay retired feels like a loss for the sport. He's publicly said Crawford is still the best fighter alive, and he's made it clear he's willing to spend serious money to prove it.
Earlier today, there were reports that Zuffa Boxing is in talks with Alexander Usyk. I'm curious if those are true reports.
The reports are the what?
You guys are talking with Alexander Usyk about
We're talking to everybody that we think are the most talented people in the world or have the potential to be the most talented people in the world.
Cool. And then lastly, I saw you replied to Maurizio Sullivan. I think he commented on a Boxing Social post. You replied to Maurizio Sullivan. Eddie Hearns had his things to say. All these guys are obviously speaking out about you coming into the sport. What are they not understanding about your ambitions for boxing?
Well, here's the thing. They were very concerned about the Muhammad Ali Act and all these other things. None of that is going to change for them. Nothing's going to change. Muhammad Ali, we're not changing one word of that. It's going to be intact. I don't know why now fighters are going to have more options. Why is that a bad thing? Why are more options a bad thing? It's not. I expected it anyway. So, and I don't listen to fucking Oscar De La Hoya anyway. anybody that listens to him is out of their fucking minds. So I don't worry about him.
This isn't just promoter talk. Dana White is already laying the foundation to make Zuffa boxing a real force. Behind the scenes, he's been building a roster strong enough to rival traditional boxing promotions. Reports suggest he's already locked in major names like Alexander Usyk and undefeated cruiserweight star Jai Opetaia. By securing elite fighters across weight classes, White is showing he has major financial backing from TKO and Riyadh Season. He's building something big, and every empire needs a leader. Right now, that top spot is open, and Dana wants Terence Crawford to fill it.
Usyk in a fight maybe as a one-off, but like Usyk signing with Zuffa doesn't feel like what I was imagining before. So
but
I don't
if you
know.
can sign him,
Oh yeah,
sign him.
Of course.
How many fights do you get out of him though? 2?
I mean, still, you're still getting him. Look,
Then you get 2.
by the way, you put those fights on Netflix. Netflix
Yeah.
wants the big fights. They have the ability to make big fights. Like I think they're going to try to do AJ Fury on Netflix and be involved in it. And these are
Zuffa is, you're saying?
Yeah.
What's their involvement?
What do you mean?
On which side of that fight?
They're just putting it on. Riyadh, AJ's tied to Turkey. Tyson's no longer tied to Top Rank. Let's go.
So the
We're
Tyson
putting it
side.
on. Dana's there, takes credit for it. Other people are paying, and they'll have to work with other people. Just like Canelo had his own little team, and Terence has his team. But they're trying to put on the biggest events and be attached to the biggest events. So I think there's going to be a little bit of that and a little bit of what we're seeing this weekend.
I get what you're saying, but would that not be Matchroom and Queensberry, like or Top Rank rather? How would they get into the equation?
I don't think Tyson is with Top Rank anymore, and I think that they would just cut a deal. Every man has a price
With Tyson.
and they would be the promoters.
Yeah.
The money being discussed right now is hard to believe. Crawford reportedly earned around $50 million for the Canelo fight, but rumors online suggest Dana White is preparing an even bigger offer. Some sources claim it could reach 9 figures, potentially $100 million, just to bring Bud back. For a fighter who has already secured his future, it would take a truly historic offer to return to training. Industry talk suggests this deal, possibly expected around mid-2026, could become one of the largest guaranteed paydays in boxing history outside of Floyd Mayweather. If it happens, it wouldn't just bring Crawford back, it could reshape the sport.
38-year-old Crawford announced his retirement last month with a carefully crafted 5-minute montage and followed it with a retirement party for family and friends this past weekend. Crawford left boxing with a perfect record of 42-0 and as the pound-for-pound king of the sport after beating Canelo Alvarez by UD in September to become the undisputed super middleweight champion. 100%. Crawford is an ATG, White told TMZ. He decided to retire. I think he should be out there fighting everybody. After seeing the masterpiece that he put on that night against Alvarez, he's so good and talented. I actually like him. He's a great guy. The tragedy with Crawford is that he didn't really achieve popularity until the tail end of his career. Really, after the Spence fight, delivering on his promise to beat Spence and become undisputed champion, some of us always knew how that fight was going to go. But it's not really until it happened that Terence Crawford's popularity really started to peak. What none of us realized at the time was that Terence would only be in the sport for 1 or 2 more years after that, and his popularity hit an all-time high when he thoroughly outboxed Canelo Alvarez. Though, having done that and climbed the mountaintop, there just ain't much left to do anymore.
But we didn't really talk much about the Terence Crawford retirement. I do agree with Eddie Hearn, who says that Terence is going to come back. We don't really know the motive, but it seems like he is still young enough, still successful enough, still thriving, and making the most amount of money of his career. I don't understand why he would walk away now, especially with his relationship with TKO and Turkey. He is finally cashing in. In that retirement announcement, he said that TKO was the first promoter that he's ever had to believe in him, and he's only had 1 fight with them. I would be very, very surprised if he walks away and never fights again. I'm not saying that his announcement was not genuine, but something is going to pop up, like a Jake Paul fight. My understanding is he wanted to take that Jake Paul fight. Timing wasn't ideal. He had just fought all this, but like there's going to be an opportunity for him to fight, and I think he does fight again. Does anyone disagree?
No, absolutely. He will 100% be back if the offer is made and it's a compelling offer. There are no retirements in combat sports. One of two things happens. One, you come back, or two, nobody wants you to come back. Those are the only two options. That's why every time one of these guys goes, I'm retired, and then they come back a year later, it's because there was an offer on the table that somebody was willing to make them that they're still relevant for. Terence Crawford is an undefeated all-time great that there's still mileage that somebody could get out of him even 3 to 5 years from now down the line. Like we hear about Andre Ward coming out of retirement every so often. It will happen if the right offer is made.